It's 1:40 in the morning. You're on your side, phone 6 inches from your face, thumb moving. You've been doing this for 40 minutes. And if someone stopped you right now and asked you to name one thing you'd seen, you couldn't. Not one post. Not one video. 40 minutes went somewhere and left nothing behind. And here's the strange part. You're not enjoying it. You'd have noticed if you were. You checked the time 20 minutes ago. You saw the number. Your thumb kept going anyway. So this isn't hunger. Hunger stops when the food is bad. This didn't. You're doing something you don't like, at the hour it costs the most, and you know exactly what it costs. Tomorrow is already ruined and you're still here. So the question was never why you can't stop. It's why you don't want to. Because you don't. Somewhere under all that tiredness, you don't want tonight to end. The scroll is just how you hold the door. That's what this video answers. One mechanism, followed all the way down. Why the last hour of your day is the only one you'll fight for. Start with evidence you already have. The feed was bad tonight, and you stayed. You've closed the app and opened it again inside 4 seconds. Same app. Nothing new could possibly have arrived. You reopened it because closing it meant the next thing was sleep. And you weren't going there yet. So the app isn't the thing. The app is just what happens to be standing where the end of your day should be. Anything would have done. You've run the same move on a fridge you already knew was empty. Open, look, close. Open again. You weren't looking for food. You were looking for a reason to still be standing up. So walk the day back. Not a bad day. Today. An ordinary one. The alarm. You didn't pick that hour. The commute picked it. Then work. 8 hours shaped almost entirely by what other people needed and when they needed it. Messages that arrived on their own schedule. The meeting that moved. The thing that broke at 4. Then home. Dinner, because someone has to. Dishes, because they don't do themselves. A bag packed for tomorrow. Bed at 11, if you're sensible. So point at it. Point at the part of that day that was actually yours. Not restful. Not pleasant. Yours. Where you picked the thing, and nobody was waiting at the other end of it. For most people, asked honestly, the answer lands somewhere around 6 minutes in the shower. That's not a complaint. It's an accounting. You handed over 16 hours and got 6 minutes back. And nobody stole them. You gave every one of those hours away for a good reason. That's exactly what makes this so hard to see. So now it's 11. Every obligation is finally, genuinely finished. And for the first time since the alarm went off, nothing is due. Nobody is waiting. Nobody needs a thing from you. So look at what that hour actually is. It isn't leisure. It's the only unclaimed ground in a 16-hour day. And you are not handing it back at 11:05 because a doctor mentioned 8 hours. Notice you never decide to stay up, though. You just don't start going to bed. That difference matters more than it sounds. Knotts and colleagues, 2019, asked late sleepers to explain themselves. Almost nobody said they'd chosen to stay up. They said they never got around to starting. Bedtime isn't a thing you resist. It's a thing you have to begin. And nothing ever begins it, because beginning it ends the only part of the day that belonged to you. So the thumb keeps moving, not toward anything, just away from the end. Now, if that's really the mechanism, it makes a prediction. And a prediction can be checked. If the scroll is a bill, then a heavier day should produce a later night. Not a more tired one. A later one. Which is backwards. Tired people should sleep sooner. Ask anyone. Connell, Cyrek and Dreyer, 2018, followed people day by day and logged both things, what the day demanded, and what time they went to bed. On the days that took more out of them, they went to bed later. Same people. Their own hard days measured against their own easy ones. Read it the way it lands. The more the day took, the more of the night they took back. Tiredness didn't send them to bed. Tiredness sent them to the phone. So the phone was never the problem. The day was. The phone is just where the day's unpaid balance shows up. Which does something uncomfortable to the advice you've been handed your whole life. A perfect day, every task done, every hour used well, nothing wasted, is a day in which you never once got a turn. So the better you are, the bigger the bill. That isn't a flaw in you. That's the mechanism running exactly the way it should. And it explains the nights that confuse you most. The productive Tuesday that somehow ends at 2 in the morning. The day you were proud of, paid for at dawn. You did everything right and got punished for it. So you concluded there was something wrong with you. There wasn't. You were owed. And nobody ever mentioned that the debt collects at night. And you've already run the test that proves it. You just weren't watching. Day 4 of a holiday. Same phone, same feed, same thumb. Same person entirely. And at 11 you put it down and you sleep, and you think nothing of it at all. No fight. It simply never comes up. Nothing about your character improved on a beach. The debt was just already paid. The whole day had been yours since breakfast. So the appetite was never really yours. It belongs to the day that came before it. Which is the turn, and it's a big one. You have been trying to fix the wrong hour. 1:40 in the morning isn't the purchase. It's the receipt. You've been reading it in the dark and blaming your hands. You can't out-discipline a bill. You can only pay it, or pay it later, with interest. And every rule you've ever made was aimed at the receipt. Phone out of the room. No screens after 10. An alarm to tell you to go to sleep. They hold for about 9 days. Then a heavy day arrives, the bill comes anyway, and it finds a book, a fridge, or a wall to stare at instead. So here's the one lever. And it has nothing to do with the night. Take the hour back while it's still daylight. And take it before the day has a chance to spend it. 20 minutes. That's the whole ask. 20 minutes somewhere in the middle of your day that belong to nobody. It comes with rules. It can't be productive. It can't be for anyone. Nothing comes out the other end that somebody else receives. Not the gym, if the gym is a target. Not reading, if you're reading to improve. The moment it has an output, the day owns it again. Sit outside. Walk with no route, play the thing badly. It should be slightly indefensible, that's how you know it's actually yours. And put it in the middle, a lunch break, the ride home, the 20 minutes before the house wakes up. Anywhere the day can't claim it isn't finished yet. Because the debt doesn't count hours. It counts whether any of them were yours. 20 owned minutes settle a 16-hour day. 0 doesn't, no matter how well the 16 went. Do it tomorrow. Then watch what 11 o'clock feels like. Now go back to 1:40 in the morning. The dark room. 6 inches. The thumb. And look at what you've been telling yourself in that bed. That you're weak at night. That everyone else has something you don't. You've been lying there grading your own character. Every night. For years. It was never character. You just hadn't had a single minute to yourself since 7 that morning. You weren't scrolling because you couldn't stop. You were scrolling because it was the first thing all day that nobody needed from you. That isn't a discipline problem. That's a person taking what they're owed, in the only place there was any left. So don't fight your thumb tonight. Give yourself 20 minutes back before it gets dark. Then find out what 11 o'clock feels like when you don't owe yourself an hour.